Hey pilots, welcome back to Motion RC. I'm your product specialist Wesley, and today we are continuing the build series of the Nexa Tri-Pacer. On the last episodes we've got the wings and the fuselage to this point. If you haven't seen those yet, make sure you go back and watch them. But today we are awful close. We're on the home stretch right now. So we're going to be mounting the wings first off, and then probably adding the little flying wires in, starting to put our radio gear in this aircraft and firing it up. So we are really close to getting this one done. So to get this one kicked off, what we need to do first is go around the aircraft and cut out the holes where our wings are actually going to slide into the fuselage. You have 3 on each side, one right here. There's another little dimple right here where we're going to cut out, and one right back in here. We're going to do that on both sides, so 6 holes total. Grab a nice sharp hobby knife for this part, and what we're going to do is take that, plunge it in, and we're just going to follow that around like so. And that's going to clean that up. Now, I didn't realize that was cardboard in there. I need to clean that tube up, or else the tube's not going to go in. There we go. Once again, plunger in. And you know what I forgot is we need the hole right here for our wires to go through. So let's go ahead and open that one up also. And that's the hole for our wires to go down into the aircraft. Now we just need to do the same thing on the other side. So here we go. Now we've got our hole cut. Let's grab our our aluminum spar and make sure that fits. And it does. Then you have these little dowel rods, look like this. What I like to do, come up here where you can see this. What I like to do, you can see this side is how they come factory. I just take a little sandpaper and round the edge. That makes it so much easier to get them in the hole. So we need to make sure they actually fit, first off. And they do. A little tight, but let's go on and just wiggle them around, make sure they go in. Good. Off to a good start. Now, we need to grab our wing halves. We need to install our little dowel rods right in here. So take your time, work them in, and then we're going to CA them in once we get them in there. And they need to be straight. That's the other big thing here. Before I glue them, I'm just going to do a quick test fit. What I want to do is ensure that I get everything straight here as possible before we glue. All this has to line up. Now that we've got our dowels kind of fitted and we know they're kind of straight, I'm going to take and put a little bit of thick CA on them. And push them in and get them as straight as possible before that glue sets up. Grab me a little kicker. Make sure they're both sitting in there pretty straight. All right. Now, the holes here are just a little too tight. So what I'm going to do is just pass a drill bit through there that's a hair bit bigger than the dowel rods. You want them as tight as possible still, but we don't want the wings to be hard to take on and off. If yours fit the first time, of course, that's great. But in my case, they're kind of tight, and I don't want them to be hard to take on and off. All right, let's see if it'll fit on there now. There we go, fits right in now, perfect. Now we just need to do the same thing to the other side. That gets our wing halves both installed on the aircraft. Now, from the top, there are actually 2 holes right here. We need a 2mm drill bit. Now, I don't have any millimeter drill bits, but I do have my standard drill index and a measuring stick. So what I'm gonna do is grab me my measuring stick and find one of these that's close to 2mm. Looking like 1/16 is pretty close. I actually don't think it's gonna be big enough to do what they want us to do though. We'll try. What it wants us to do is drill a hole from the top into the aluminum spar right now. So we have both wings on, so we know the spar is butted up correctly. And we also need to make sure we drill straight down right now. Just like that. Now, we take our two 3mm by 15mm long screws with a nut on them. We're going to see if they'll go in nicely. We may have to open that up just a hair to do this. This is where your wing screws on. It's going in nice so far though. Hey, that worked out perfect. It's tight, but that's okay. Just like that, and that's going to hold our wings on this side. Now I can do the same thing on the other side. Now our wings are on and attached. We can do the next part, which is putting on all our little pretty pieces down on the bottom. Now once again, if you have it, a towel like this, I'm using a moving blanket from U-Haul right now, is a fantastic option for this because that's going to keep us from tearing up the airplane when we have it upside down. All right, now that we have the aircraft upside down, we need to take out our little wing cabanes. You'll notice they have these little brass tabs on them that you can bend upwards or downwards, which is going to be important here in a minute, because we're going to have to bend them to where they fit the aircraft. Now, there's also, on one side of them, a laser cut hole. You can see it when you look at it real carefully. We need to cut that little spot out using our razor knife. Here we go. I'm going to go on and cut one out and show you what I'm talking about here. Now you can see what I was talking about. You can see these with the covering on, but you just need to be careful. You're only going to poke it through one side. You're going to leave the other side uncut. And this is where our little cabanes are going to go. Right here. We can go on and just kind of test fit them first. It could be a little tight. See if we can get them pushed in there now. There we go. Nice and tight. All right, pull them back out, and we'll give them a drop of thick CA. Stick them down in there. Get them all the way in, and that'll let that little thing flap like that. And that is not that way. So that's this side like that. So now we need to make the other side. Make sure I cut out the right direction. So it needs to be this side right here. All right, and this side goes over here. That does, oh, right there. Yep, like that. Cool. Cool. Now we need our screws. So you're supposed to have two of these, and I might have dropped it somewhere along the way. Once again, these came with the motor mount there. They're the exact same, but they're a button head. So I'm going to use these for the cabanes instead. Structurally the same. To do it, so we need to now get it all figured out. So we're going to take that guy, thread him in right there. tightened up. I'm going to leave it still a little bit loose until we have everything on the wing. That way we have some wiggle room. What I'm going to kind of do here is cut a little tiny bit of it right here to where I can stick this guy through the wing and glue him in right there. There's not a pre-cut hole on this, so what I'm going to do is just slide it ever so gently here. Into the holes where I want them. Then we're going to glue these little guys in right here up against this spar. So take that out of the way, pop this guy off, put some thick CA on it, and key him down into the hole. Then we're going to get another one and do the same thing again. Alright, I'm just going to put a little extra on there just to make sure the covering doesn't split around that. Alright, give it a little blast of kicker. Then we can take these little guys and put them in ever so gently like that. And that just leaves us with our two holes out here that we need to put our screws in. So we're going to grab a drill bit here somewhere. There we go. We're going to drill a small pilot hole where our two screws for the cabanes are going to go. Now, in better news, these are not really structural on this aircraft. The spar is what's holding everything. These are just more for pretty. Sure, they'll do a little bit. So we're going to take that one right there. Careful at that part. It is very easy to drop that screw or that drill all the way through the wing. I'm just going to feel to make sure I don't poke it through the other side, because that would not be good. Perfect. Perfect. Now we can just tighten it up, and that is how you install the cabanes. Now, I need to do the exact same thing on the other side. When you take the wing on and off of the airplane for transportation to the field, if you take it on and off, I should even say, you're just going to unscrew this one screw here, and the cabane will stay with the wing when you do it this way. But it's nice and strong now, and shouldn't give us any issues. All right, so at this point, we have both of our cabanes on, our wings are installed. It's time to put our little pretty flying wires back here on the tail. Now, I've already put one side on. The reason I waited until now to do this instead of doing it when the instructions said is I knew I was going to be flipping the airplane and moving it a bunch. I didn't want to accidentally knock these off while we were doing it. So if you put your elevator on right from the beginning, unlike me, remember I had to accidentally cover those holes. The holes out here should already be pre-cut for you. Now, because I did this wrong and I had to cover those on the bottom, I need to now go out here and find my little hole. There it is. I'm just going to cut it out. So it's not a big deal if you do it wrong, but if you do it right from the beginning, they're already cut out for you. But I'm going to go on and cut these out. Now the one up here, there's a hole right here. You just cut it out and you push that piece all the way through and then glue it to where it stays in there. Now we're going to take this little guy, make sure it fits in the hole. The other one was a little tight too. Work it in there until it's all the way down and pull it back out. I'm going to take and just trim this ever so slightly just to make that a little easier to get it in and out. All right, put a little glue on it. Wait, let's test fit it one more time just to make sure. It's tight. But yes, it did go all the way down. Okay. Now we can take a little glue. Thick CA is my choice. Fills that gap in nicely. You don't want to take that guy all the way down as possible. Like so. I just take my nozzle now and kind of spread that thick CA around a little bit. And grab a rag and wipe off the excess. We want it to look pretty at the end of the day. Not like we just glued stuff everywhere. Now, the way this works, where'd my little ring rope go? Here it is. We're gonna grab our wire, and then you've got these little guys right here. Take your wire, put it through. Now, on the aircraft, we're gonna take and put it through the hole. Grab our little wire. Then we're gonna put it back through our crimp. And now we're gonna work this guy. Let's see. I need to put him up there. We want a little bit sticking out. And then we want this little guy as tight as we can. Like that, right there. Now we can grab some type of pliers and give that a pinch. And get it nice and crushed down. There we go. Once again, we're going to take on this side our little barrel connector, put it through, put it through. Now we have to get it tight as we possibly can right here. Doesn't have to be like piano wire tight or anything, just you don't want it having slack. See how that's nice and tight? Get that all set and then crimp this side. Hiya. Hiya. Just like that. And then cut the excess off. Like so. And that's as easy as putting the flying wires on. So at this point, the airframe is basically assembled. It's time to start in on our electronics. So what we're gonna do is pop the canopy open. It's gonna be really hard to show any of this because I'm gonna be down in the belly of the beast. What I need to do at this point is take both of my wing connectors, which are my ailerons and my flaps, and I'm gonna put them into Y harnesses. Then all of my other connectors that are in here, we've got our throttle, our rudder, and our elevator, all need to go into our receiver. And then I'm gonna be mounting that receiver down inside the aircraft. Now, once again, this is kind of hard to show this. It's the same on any aircraft though, as far as setting up the receiver inside of it. Just make sure all your signal wires are the correct direction. For me, I'm gonna use a Lemon 6-channel receiver with a satellite on here. Had really good luck out of them lately. And I'm gonna use it on this one also. So let me get that put into the aircraft and we'll meet back up. I'll try and get you some inside shots after I've done it, because with my hands all in here, you're just not gonna be able to see what I'm doing right now. But I'll show you after I get it in there. All right, pilots, so at this point, I have all the electronics done, and it's just real tight inside this airplane, so I'm gonna grab this B camera here, and we're gonna go for a little ride, and I'm gonna show you exactly what I ended up doing. So, inside the aircraft, what I've done to keep this nice and clean, I brought all my receiver wires right here into my 6-channel receiver, and it's blinking on the camera just because of the LED is in time with this. It's actually solid on my end, but like I said, it's at the same frame rate as the camera is why it appears to be blinking. I took my other receiver lead and it goes up on this channel, and my receiver is mounted up in there. Then those two wires of the antennas go up. Now let me see if I can get this in the right angle. But I have one mounted right here, and I have one mounted on the inside of this board going this way. Now for my other receiver, you can see I have one wire here and one wire here. And that's just a straw. You can get them at Starbucks. They're what you use to do your coffee with. And I cut them down and just glue them into the airplane. It really makes it clean. Then I took all the wires for the wing and went under everything up into this little loom. And as you can see, that goes up into the wing. Now the reason I had to make this so clean, for one thing, I like my airplanes to be clean on the inside. But for two, we're going to put our interior in the aircraft. Now another modification I had to do, this has a bar that comes all the way across. I cut that bar off and I added that little piece in the middle. And what I'll show you now, if I can one hand this. Gotta have two hands for this. Okay, there we go. All right, now I can show this. I just had to get it to where I could actually hold it. So now that I have the interior setting in there, you can see it keys in right there and right there. So we're gonna grab it, tilt it in, and that magnet will line up and click right there. Now the interior is in, and that actually covers all of our wiring. So as you can see, now it's all nice and clean in there. Now the other fun thing I grabbed this pilot. He actually came out of the Black Horse Wilga, and these are sold separately, but man, he fits perfectly in here. So I think what I'm gonna do is just put a little magnet on his butt and stick him right in there. And then the control yoke can go right in his hand. And look at that. That's gonna really look awesome in there with that little pilot. All right, so anyway, I'm gonna go back in here. I'm gonna put the magnets on the bottom of his butt, get him stuck down. It comes with these little control yokes. I'm gonna mount them in his hand with just a stick coming out towards the dashboard, but leaving enough room to where the dashboard doesn't hit it. And then, man, we are really close. Also, I did notice my motor runs the wrong way, so I'm gonna have to pull the cowling off, switch two of the wires, and then our motor will be spinning the right direction. Then we're gonna be ready to kind of clean this thing up and put in some rates and expo, and this thing will be ready to fly. Well, all right, pilots, this pretty much completes the assembly. All you didn't see me do is I went on ahead and put the propeller on the aircraft. I think most of you guys that are building a Balsa airplane at this point know how to put a propeller on an aircraft. One thing I did paint the propeller white with some red tips, really spiced it up a little bit, just made it that little more unique touch. I did get the pilot glued down inside of it that I said I was using. If you want one of these, it is available. You can just go to the spare parts section on the Black Horse Wilga and you can get this same pilot. There's a white one and a red one. Both would match this airplane really well if you decide to do that. CG per the manual is saying 65 to 70 millimeters. I'm right there at 70. We'll see if that feels good on the first flight. If I need to, I may move it forward a little bit more. Currently, I've balanced it with a 2200 4S battery, and I did 2 ounces of nose weight to the aircraft in order to hit that CG mark. Now, if I'll cut the pilot's leg off, I could get a 3000 in here. Wouldn't need that extra nose weight, and I could even go up to a 5000 if we so choose to, just to get a little longer flight time and more nose weight. So those are some options on that, and if you don't run the pilot figure, of course, you'll be able to fit the 5000 in here, no issue. For now, I'm gonna go with no flap to elevator mix. Now, being that this is basically a Cub, more than likely it's gonna want 5 to 10% down elevator mix. I'll get back to you when we do the flight report on it though. As we always do here at Motion RC, you know you're gonna see me flying this here in a few weeks, now that it's done. And I'll give you the full report of what changes I do as far as the aircraft goes. For aileron and elevator, I have gone on ahead and made 100% throw which is going to be way too much on the elevator. I already know it. 80 and 60% cuts. Those are my 3 rates for my maiden flight on this aircraft. And I have 20% expo all around. It's a good starting point though on most of these Balsa planes if you have that setup. I will say this is going to be more like a Warbird though, so I doubt we're going to need that much elevator. But I'm going to leave it in there and we'll see. Who knows? Sometimes they surprise me still. I'm trying to think of anything else we missed, guys. Like I said, it's been a pretty fun project. I can't wait to see it flying. It's a good looking bird now that it's here on the table, as you see. Got the opening door, all the little landing gear features that make it cleaned up. And it really wasn't too hard of an assembly. This is the first time that I think I've ever done one start to finish on a Balsa bird. And now maybe you see why it took me 5 series to get it done. But I hope you enjoyed it. I know a lot of guys have wanted to see more build videos. I know they're assemblies, but build videos on these Balsa aircraft. If you enjoyed this, leave us a comment. Tell us that you want to see more of them. You know, I can always put them together without the cameras a lot faster, but I think you guys might enjoy seeing them. I have a couple more Nexa planes sitting here in the wings ready to go. You'll probably be seeing those soon enough. And as always, guys, whether it's land, sea, or air, Motion RC has everything you want. Check out one of these Nexa birds for your hangar and let the guys know you're coming from our videos. We always enjoy doing them for you. Without further ado, guys, see you in the next one.